On the top? On the top? Please, you just push it. There you go. I couldn't see, it was a little bit too short. It's for girls now. Yeah. It's just for boys. She's strong for boys. Strong men wear pink. Pink is for boys, right? You just didn't want me to use it as a weapon. You're good. You're good. You're good. All right. Good morning, everyone. The time is 11:02, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome to this meeting of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. Mr. Saeed, can you please read the notice of the public meeting?
Chairwoman, this is a regularly scheduled meeting of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's 2026 annual meeting schedule. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with the Senator Byron M. Baer Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of the meeting was provided to the Asbury Park Press, Bergen Record, Courier Post, Star Ledger, and the Trenton Times on December 8th, 2025. The agenda and information regarding the in-person meeting and the ability to live stream was also posted on the CRC website. The meeting time and location has also been posted on the website of the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission and with the Office of the Secretary of the State.
Thank you, Mr. Saeed. Can you please take roll call?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Present.
Commissioner Mapp, Vice Chair Nash,
Present.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Present.
We now have a quorum. The first order of business is for the Commission to go into executive session to discuss legal matters and litigation and investigation updates. These are discussions that are not shared with the public. We believe the executive session should take about 2 hours.
Thank you. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Motion.
Commissioner
Second.
Lawfer moves to go into executive session, seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Motion passes. So as Mr. Saeed mentioned, we expect the executive session to last approximately 2 hours. We will leave the live stream running during that time. For anybody who is in the room with us in person today, our staff who will remain in this room will not be able to answer any questions about the matters that are up for consideration today. And so we can expect the public portion of this meeting to resume at approximately 1:05. Thanks, everyone. All right, welcome back. The time is 1:27, and we will resume the public portion of this meeting. Before we begin, I do want to note we are experiencing some technical difficulties with our YouTube live stream. You can still access our meeting through the Zoom link on our public meetings page. We do know a lot of folks watch on YouTube. So if you know anybody who is having trouble, please direct them to our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings. And from there, they can access the Zoom link. Again, you will need to go to our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings, and click on the Zoom link. Thank you. And thank you to our technical team managing through these technical issues. So with that, Mr. Saeed, we can please announce the next agenda item.
Next up on the agenda is approving the minutes of both the Commission's open and executive sessions held on December 17, 2025 and January 18, 2026. The minutes have been shared with the members of the Commission prior to this meeting.
Thank you. If there are no corrections requested, is there a motion on the meeting minutes? Commissioner Mapp moves to approve the meeting minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Any discussion on this motion?
Yeah, I have to abstain for December, so I'll abstain on the motion. because
Thank
they're
you.
together.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, Commissioner Laufer. Any further discussion on this motion? Hearing none is, all those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
I abstain.
One abstention, thank you. Motion passes.
The next item on the agenda is the chair's report.
Happy Black History Month, everyone. Because today's chair's report is actually going to be, quite a little long, I'm gonna try my best to go as quickly as we can. Starting with some industry reminders. We know a lot of, businesses want to host events, and so just wanted to share a few simple do's and don'ts for hosting events. Remember that under the law, our businesses cannot sell or even give away food or drinks. So you cannot be a pass-through entity giving away or selling drinks. You can, however, allow your patrons to bring in their own food or order food from elsewhere to be brought to the premises. For advertisements, we do see a lot of businesses, especially dispensaries, advertising their products, their events, and that's all well and good. You just need to make sure that you're doing the appropriate age check for before engaging in any advertisements. We have some strict advertising rules that are written into the law. And so if you have questions about whether your proposed advertising is compliant with the law and our regulations, please contact your compliance officer. We want to make sure people are advertising in a safe and responsible manner. We have seen we have received reports of some businesses hosting raffles or doing bingos. You have to register with the Legalized Games of Chance Control Commission in order to host raffles or bingos. And most of our cannabis businesses actually will not qualify for a permit, but please contact the Legalized Games of Chance Control Commission if you are interested in hosting a raffle or bingo so that you don't get caught up in their regulatory issues as well. If you've got questions, again, please contact your compliance officer. It is better to ask questions about your proposed activity or what you want to do beforehand rather than risk getting cited for a violation and encountering issues there. Next, as businesses continue to negotiate business agreements, we just want to, hold on, I'm going to pause. Are we good with technology? All right. Thank you. Thank you. Everybody take a moment, mute your devices, and then we'll resume. Okay, so again, as businesses continue to navigate business agreements and transactions, we just want to share some reminders. Transparency among business partners is really important for our companies. We have seen companies encounter problems when one owner isn't being honest or transparent with the other owners. When compensation for goods and services is charged, we have seen agreements come across our desks that utilize a range of compensation methods. So we want businesses and business owners to be mindful of when compensation is taking the form of a share of gross revenue as opposed to net revenue or as opposed to a flat amount. We've even seen leases or subleases that charge a flat amount plus a percentage of sales revenue. So we just want businesses to make informed decisions for their operations, and we just want everybody to be on notice. Also, you need to be thinking about product revenue cycles and invoice due dates. We know this has been an issue. It's even been a topic of conversation at some of our national conferences that the CRC has attended, right? So we find that a lot of businesses have been having to negotiate with their suppliers some extended extended times to submit payments. So you need to just be mindful when you're making your projections and your business accounting. Keep in mind the product cycles that you have and the revenues that are going to come in from the purchases from the products that you're offering. Also, think about the ability to scale operations and drive down your costs. Now, the ability to scale was built into the CREAM Act for a small group of companies, which incentivizes cost inflations down the supply chain, making it extremely challenging for other newly created businesses to sustain themselves in a market that is heavily controlled by a select handful of growers. Now, our rules do allow you to start small and grow your business as your revenues increase. So you don't have to bite off more than you can chew. We have seen quite a few businesses finding themselves in a predicament when they've bitten off more than they can chew. So be mindful, you can start small and grow along with your business. So want to move on to some common pitfalls for applications. Though we have seen significant reductions in the time that it takes to process our applications, which Director Riggs will expand on later. We still have businesses that are unable to move forward in the application process because of incomplete applications. So the top reasons for these cures continue to be incomplete or missing disclosure forms that are not notarized, missing or outdated tax returns. And I want to give a shout out to our director of licensing and the licensing team that goes through all of these applications and tries to chase applicants for missing documents. In terms of missing documents, we have seen for investor and franchise agreements, you must submit all of the documents that are part of that larger transaction. This includes all attachments and exhibits. We do see a lot of businesses that don't provide the full picture with their initial submissions. Avoid extended review times by submitting all documents, attachments, and exhibits related to your agreements. And remember that the fastest way to getting a license is to have all of your application materials complete and submitted properly. Moving on to compliance side. So getting your license is only the beginning. I know there are a lot of business owners here and they can attest that getting the license is only the start of a long journey. Compliance really does need to be on people's minds here. So standard operating procedures or your SOPs, they really should be your lifeline for compliance. They're not just words on a piece of paper, because if you treat them that way, you run substantial risk of committing violations, messing up your own record keeping and internal accounting, and spending many hours cleaning up the mess later. We have had several businesses encounter inventory management and record keeping issues that took them hours to undo. So I encourage all of our companies to review subchapter 9 of the rules, plus the subchapter that applies to your specific activity. Ensure that your staff know what to do in the case of emergencies. And you can even consider doing mock exercises like mock scenarios or tabletop exercises to make sure that everybody understands how to act in various situations. And as always, if you've got questions, ask your compliance officer. Lastly, in terms of the industry updates, want to share some updates on the hemp front. So a new law enacted last month restricts the sale of intoxicating products derived from hemp. Starting April 13th, products with more than 0.4 milligrams of total THC can only be sold by Class 5 cannabis retailers. Liquor stores can sell intoxicating hemp-infused drinks, but they will have some new requirements starting in November of this year. Now, the law does immediately prohibit selling hemp-derived products or drinks online, selling hemp-infused drinks through vending machines, making or distributing any synthetic cannabinoids, or selling any THC in any detectable amount to anybody who is under 21, not including medicinal cannabis patients. We do have FAQs designed specific for this new law that is available on our website. If you go to our main page, you should get a pop-up that will link you to the FAQs. Sorry, the frequently asked questions. Now, as we near the N.J.A.C.'s 5th birthday, I want to highlight some of the successes that we've had in simultaneously standing up both a new government agency and a new regulated industry. Starting with the industry itself, the Commission significantly expanded medical cannabis access points and launched the adult use market in just a year. Our efforts to promote responsible and equitable industry, both inclusive of both medical and the adult use markets, were and continue to be driven by some specific markers, tangible markers, focusing on equal opportunity rather than equal outcomes. Everybody seems to be a free market capitalist right up until they get their own license. And then it seems that a lot of people mysteriously have a sudden change of heart and want the Commission to impose a lot of protectionist measures that essentially box everyone else out of the game and guarantee their own company's financial viability. We want our businesses to succeed. The Commission genuinely wants to see our businesses thrive and our New Jersey operators realize their dreams of setting up a cannabis establishment. Now, it was reported in 2020, 5 years ago, that, now going on 6 years ago, that, there was a fear that the cannabis industry in New Jersey would turn into a small industry that is not reflective of New Jersey's diversity. In response to that fear, I said, it's a legitimate fear that if left unabated, the forces of capitalism and bias will result in a select few, mostly white men, who will control and profit from a legalized cannabis industry. But it's a concern that you have to worry about only if we don't take affirmative steps to make sure it doesn't happen. And we do that by making sure the industry that we set up is one that does let people have a meaningful opportunity to enter the industry regardless of their background, by lowering barriers to entry and prioritizing equity. Before the Commission started in 2021, New Jersey forced applicants to compete against each other for a small number of medicinal permits. The Commission broke away from that mold and set up an open industry accessible to all. And that's why we have a greater portion of our market represented by diversely owned businesses as compared to other states. The Commission also finds solutions for businesses rather than running other people's businesses for them. Our vice chair once said to me, that it's up to the businesses to be their own success story. And even Commissioner Mapp said to me once that we are not in the business of operating your business. So we educate. We set up numerous roundtable discussions with business owners to hear their experiences so that we can help companies help themselves. We offer options so that companies can make the best choice for their situation. We come up with creative solutions. The Permitting and Licensing Committee is working on cooperative purchase agreements guidance to give our small business owners a way to help drive down their costs. Commission also encourages shared responsibility for equity. Doing equity work takes a collective effort. State government certainly needs to take deliberate steps to avoid creating an uneven playing field by giving unfair advantages to some companies over others. But banks and investors, landlords, suppliers, and local governments also need to allow people an equal opportunity to participate in the industry without prejudice and without having every projected incoming dollar squeezed out of them before they even open their doors. When a business fails, sometimes it's been easy to blame the wrong conditions. It's been easy to blame the person who didn't give you a license sooner or the town that didn't opt in immediately. or even the idea that there are too many businesses in town. But we already know what the biggest obstacles are for businesses: the ability to scale operations. Right? We have a fewer than a dozen companies that control more than half of the market share in New Jersey. Requirements that are written into the law and cost money, but have little to no nexus to a company's ability to operate safely or responsibly. And the ability to get startup capital in a society that is already contending with systemic inequities in economic opportunities. So, when businesses have to spend thousands of dollars for municipal licenses, five-figure monthly rents for their facilities, give 30% of gross revenues for their management services contractor, and 30-day deadlines for inventory invoices, it begs the question: who is expected to succeed under these conditions? Private sector has an enormous role to play in ensuring equity is a reality. And sadly, I believe many in the private sector are falling short. We do see a number of great actors who have been incredibly collaborative and reaching out to the commission, wanting to provide opportunities and wanting to discuss policy options for the state to provide opportunities for individuals. But we continue to see people gouging business owners on rent and um, and the availability of property too. And that is really stifling the industry. Our industry also has been adapting to evolving cannabis issues. We've been modifying policy where possible, issuing guidance to fill in gaps, and finding creative solutions to problems facing the industry. Now, when it comes to the commission's organizational integrity, first and foremost, when setting up a new agency, you have to properly manage expectations. It's important to remember that cannabis legalization was never going to be the silver bullet that kills racism, or the vestiges of racism, or the systems that exclude people from economic, political, and social opportunities. Legalization is, and always has been, one piece of a much larger set of reforms needed to ensure that government delivers meaningful opportunities for New Jerseyans to thrive. Setting proper expectations also requires a willingness for this agency to say what we mean and mean what we say. And that leads me to the communication with stakeholders. We have, through concentrated outreach, roundtables, surveys, frequently asked questions, and policy discussions, we've solicited input from the members of the public and interested entrepreneurs on rules that would govern the industry. And we've changed how many people, certainly not all, see and interact with government. I want to give a particular shout out to our Office of Diversity and Inclusion and our communications team for the work that they've done to contribute to those efforts. Our commission has also been, over the last 5 years, increasingly data driven. Having agency actions be driven by facts and data rather than by the loudest voice in the room. Our director Riggs comes every meeting with loads of data. Sometimes it's like drinking water from a fire hose, but it's critically important for this data analysis to be conducted and provided to the board. And so I want to thank directors Riggs, Terranova, and Urbish for their collaboration in making sure that every action that we take is supported by data. And lastly, the commission has given value to its rules by holding ourselves and our businesses accountable for their actions. This promotes a safe and responsible industry. Maintaining transparency in our agency's actions, showing what we're doing and why, is critical to building trust among the regulated community. When it comes to the businesses, we have to hold everyone to the same standard. Our industry has room for companies, both large and small. And so a lot of people have, over the last 5 years, unfairly demonized multi-state operators just because they are large companies. And I want to push back on that, because just because a company has been successful enough to operate in multiple states does not inherently mean the company should be scrutinized while others are not. As demonstrated in our public meetings and on our website, there are bad actors that are small businesses and bad actors that are large corporations. I don't believe that a company's revenue should be a determining factor in whether a particular penalty should be imposed. The CRC is open to payment plans, making payment plans available for businesses that can't pay a lump sum for any fine. But the egregiousness of a violation should not be diminished simply by the size of a company. If we are all transparent and clear with each other, if we give one another the opportunity to thrive responsibly and give each other the tools we need to make informed decisions, that's when we can call New Jersey's industry a success story. And I want to thank everybody at the commission for bringing that to fruition, because I do believe that we have done a great job in setting up an agency with integrity and that upholds our standards both inside and out. And that concludes my chair's report for today.
The next item on the agenda is the Executive Director's Report.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for that report. Next slide, please. So updates on dispensary openings. Again, we continue as an industry to open up these dispensaries as quickly as we possibly can in a safe and compliant way. We have more than, can you please go back? It's okay. More than 299 medical and recreational dispensaries open in all 21 counties. There's a list of some new dispensaries there on the side that have just opened since our last public meeting. Licensing update, total licenses approved as of February 5th of 2026. A total of a little over 3,000 applications have been submitted to the CRC through the portal. Of those, around 2,500 of those applications have been approved by the board. 331 of the applications are still under review in our Office of Licensing. 202 of those applications are pending resubmission following a cure because they either didn't submit something or the application is incomplete. And then 157 of them are with our investigations team in the Office of Compliance and Investigation undergoing a probity review. Total licenses approved as of today, 1,662 conditionals, 477 conditional to annual conversions, 319 annual licenses, along with 86 expanded alternative treatment centers. Today, up for consideration, we have one medical satellite location from a 2019 RFA award winner, 5 conversion to annual licenses, 6 annual licenses, 1 expanded alternative treatment center, 1 alternative treatment center administrative extension, and then we also have 49 annual license renewals with 1 administrative extension before the board. Cannabis sales and revenue totals 2025. I think of note here, you can see in Q4 of 2025, we went over $324 million in sales in that month. That's the first time we eclipsed over 300 million in a quarter of sales for cannabis. So that shows that, you know, sales are still large. They're going in the right direction. Everything's positive in that regard. Workforce growth. So we have a unique industry where everybody needs to be badged and they come through the CRC. So we're able to tell and give really good numbers on the workforce. The total workforce now in the cannabis space is over 12,000. It's almost 13,000 people that are working now in the cannabis workforce. Average new hires per month in 2025 were 567 a month. And in January of 26, we had 512. So that growth continues. There's a trend in continuing to hire and continuing to employ people that are qualified to work in this space. New business openings. We did this by year. On the bottom, you see the bar chart. We had a huge explosion in business growth in 2024 with 191 new businesses opening up or growing or getting licenses. In 2025, we had 144 businesses. And in 2026, so far, we have 11 new businesses for a total number of 541 open businesses, with new businesses in 2025 coming in at about 144 businesses opening up. Another chart just showing the type of business. So adult use retailers obviously continue to dominate the new businesses. The good news is that we're starting to see more cultivators come online and more manufacturers come online to sort of have more diverse product type and have additional cultivators supplying the market. But this just gives you a sense of where the type of business that opened in 2025 stands. Application cycles. As the chair mentioned, I was going to go over some of this data. So Annual application cycle times have reduced by 74% since 2021. That's when we started looking at these things and accepting applications. Obviously, we really were drinking through a fire hose with a really short staff when we first started. We've been able to add additional staff and lower those cycle times. The average cycle time for an annual license now is down to 132 days in 2025. For conversion licenses, it's down to about 166 days when it was about 242 days. And then you see for conditional licenses, we're getting those approved in around 47 days. This is the distribution for annual and conversions over the last 18 months. And the reason this slide's relevant and something that we should be looking at is because the outliers kind of skew the average, right? The average time is skewed. You'll see that 83% of the applications started and were approved since July 2024 were approved by the board in less than 250 days. In the beginning, it was over 500 days. We're now down and cut that well in half to 250 days to get them to the board, get board approval, and move these folks into the industry. Digitizing and automating the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission. So in the beginning of time, everybody's working off of Excel spreadsheets, licensing platforms, polling data from those platforms into spreadsheets, manually inputting things, manually reviewing data. Now we have a Salesforce customer resource management system that's going to integrate all the agency's data sources. All of that will be pulled into one system. It'll allow us to create dashboards. It'll allow us to prepare quickly and more efficiently for our meeting preparation and public board meetings. Everything is going to go through this Salesforce platform. We're excited to roll that out. In the next several weeks, we should be up and running all through Salesforce and be able to have additional data, some dashboards available to the public, and those types of things. And with that, Madam Chair, that is my executive director's report, but I'd like to turn the floor over to the director of the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, Wesley McWhite, to talk a little bit about a new program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Director Riggs and Madam Chair and members of the board. The New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission, the Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and PSE&G's Energy Efficiency Program, we are proud to announce an upcoming educational webinar. This webinar reflects our newest governor, Governor Mikey Sherrill, and New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's continued commitment to supporting a sustainable, economically viable cannabis industry by connecting businesses with practical resources that can help lower operating costs. This session will introduce an energy efficiency initiatives, financing options, and technical assistance available through the PSE&G programs that can support facility development and upgrades across the cannabis supply chain. So who is this for? The webinar is designed for cannabis businesses planning gut rehabilitation, new construction or facility retrofitting, as well as operators seeking to reduce energy cost. And in one particular program, if those folks that think they're too far along, there is also some look back period to some of these programs as well. While these programs are open to all New Jerseyans, New Jersey businesses, many cannabis operators have not yet taken advantage of these opportunities. We do want to state that the New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission's role is limited to just hosting this informational session. New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission does not determine vendor program eligibility. We do not administer the incentives or endorse any specific program, vendor, or financing option. And all program details, eligibility determinations, and participation decisions are managed solely by PSE&G. The date of the webinar is Thursday, February 26th at 1:15 to 2:30 p.m. It is a virtual webinar, and we are asking for folks to register in advance. And so you can scan that QR code if you are watching now. Currently, the email for all license holders and their specific contact information, this will be in your email inbox by this afternoon. And we encourage all licensees and interested businesses to register and attend, learn which programs they may qualify for, and explore opportunities to reduce operating costs while strengthening energy efficiency across the industry. If you have any questions, please contact the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at ODI@crc.nj.gov, and you can visit PSE&G's energy efficiency website at mybizenergy.pseng.com. Really excited to get the cannabis industry participating in this yearly program. So thank you. All done.
Thank you, Director Riggs, and thank you, Director McWhite. Yet another example of the commission working hard to find creative solutions and bring information to our businesses so that they can help identify opportunities to drive down their costs. Are there any questions from the board? Great, then we will move on.
The next item up for consideration on the agenda are the committee reports.
So we have one committee report today from the Public Engagement and Education Committee. So I will turn the floor over to Commissioner Mapp.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Public Engagement and Education Committee is statutorily required to hold at least 3 meetings per year in order to solicit input from the public regarding the use of SEEF, the Social Equity Excise Fees. The hearings for 2026 were held on January 15th, 21st, and 29th, respectively, and all recordings and slides for those hearings are housed on the CRC's website under Public Meetings, under the Public Meetings page and the Public Hearings tab. Our goal is to continue this process by holding additional hearings, which we would like to host in the summer months so that more people can come out and attend. And we will also advertise those hearings as soon as they're scheduled so that you know when we're going to be out there. A homepage banner promoting the SEEF hearing fees, the SEEF hearing info was set up since November 17th of 2025 for those meetings that were held back in January. And we will follow that same process for the planned meetings so that you are informed. A total of 60 registrants signed up to speak at the 2026 hearings. However, there were only 25 who actually spoke, and we really need to hear more from our constituents. Of those that spoke, a large majority represented local departments of health, community-based organizations, and municipal stakeholders, and the suggestions remain consistent with past recommendations. And some of them are mental health, after-school programs, apprenticeships, job skills and readiness training, food assistance, re-entry and rehab services, expungement clinics, and financial literacy programs. All suggestions and recommendations have been documented and will be included in the official SEEF report, which will be sent to the governor and the legislature upon completion. The social equity excise fee is a per ounce flat fee assessed on all cannabis cultivated and sold in New Jersey's adult use cannabis market. And as required by law, the SEEF funds are to be used for social equity initiatives, which will benefit communities that were disproportionately affected by the war on drugs and the individuals who reside in them. The unconfirmed total dollars for cannabis sales for 2025 are recreational sales were approximately $1.1 billion. The tax revenue was approximately $68 million. And based on these amounts, the SEEF amount would be approximately $10.7 million. These amounts may vary upon confirmation, but that should only be by a very small percentage. However, this shows the growth of the market and the direction that the New Jersey cannabis industry is going. I look forward to seeing a market that continues in an upward trajectory, enabling us to provide support for the communities in need, thereby lifting as we climb. I return the meeting to the chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Mapp, and to the Public Engagement and Education Committee for their work and their time hosting these hearings. I echo your sentiments that we want to see more engagement from members of the public, If you signed up to speak, we really do want to see you show up and provide your thoughts and your feedback, because it is important and it goes directly into our recommendations report that is sent to the governor and the legislature. So we'll look forward to Commissioner Mapp's presentation of that report once it is ready.
The next item up for consideration are the public notices and publications.
Thank you. I will turn the floor over to Director Riggs to provide a summary of the public notice that needs to be adopted.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And we have a public notice for a notice of readoption of 17:30A, our medical rules. They have a sunset provision consistent with most of the rules that are filed in the OAL, where they expire on April 27th of 2026. In order to continue to have those medical rules in place, we need to file for a readoption. I know we are working hard internally on getting those medical rules updated, and we'll have some more to come, hopefully here in 2026, as we continue to finalize those. But with Executive Order 7 of Governor Sherrill, with the 90-day pause, we have a short form adoption that is asked to be approved by the board today and recommended to be approved by the board today, so that we are able to file that when we are given the okay to file that by the front office. So thank you, and I return it to you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board regarding the information provided? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Motion.
Commissioner Lawfer moves to approve the notice of readoption. Thank you. Great. Moved by Commissioner Lawfer, seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration are ownership change applications.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first tranche here, we have 17 ownership transfers that are going to be shown here up on the slide. Under the law and regulations, the sale or transfer of equity in a business requires the board to approve that ownership transfer prior to that transfer taking place. This is to ensure that all the regulatory requirements, legal requirements are met, and so the owners are vetted by our Office of Compliance and Investigations. There's 17 cannabis businesses that are up for consideration in this recommendation that are proposing a new ownership transfer. Each of these entities has satisfied the regulatory criteria for an ownership change. All the owners and individuals that were required to be vetted by the Office of Compliance and Investigation were vetted by those, and they've been deemed qualified to enter into the adult use cannabis market, and therefore we are recommending approval of these ownership applications.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board for Director Riggs? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
I make the motion that we approve the applications as submitted by Director Riggs.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Mapp, seconded by Commissioner Lawfer. Any discussion on this motion?
Good work by staff.
Any further? Thank you, Commissioner Lawfer. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda, we have consideration of an ownership change application for Leaf Relief N.J.A. Commissioner Mapp has recused herself from this ownership change application for
I think we're doing the other one.
sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
The next item on the agenda, we have consideration of an ownership change application for La Vida Gardens. Chairwoman Wainu has recused herself from this ownership change application for La Vida Gardens due to an ongoing professional relationship. On account of her recusal, she will step out of the room while the board considers this particular application. Afterward, Chairwoman Wainu will come back in and will take up the next order of business.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice Chair Nash. La Vida Gardens LLC went through a similar process that I just articulated for the 17 other ownership changes. This entity has satisfied the regulatory criteria for an ownership change. The owners and the individuals that were submitted with the application were vetted by our Office of Compliance and Investigation, and they were deemed qualified to enter into the adult use market, and therefore staff is recommending approval of this application. Thank you.
Could you say that a little quicker? Thank you, Director Riggs.
Trying to meet the chair's demands of
Any
speeding this up.
questions from the board?
No.
Okay, hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, approved by Commissioner Lawfer and seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion?
No.
Hearing none, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayno is recused. The motion passes. The next item on the agenda, we have consideration of an ownership change application for Leaf Relief N.J.A. Commissioner Mapp has recused herself from this ownership change application for Leaf Relief N.J. due to an ongoing personal relationship. On account of her recusal, she will step out of the room while the board considers this particular application. Afterward, Commissioner Mapp will come back in and will take up the next order of business.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Leaf Relief N.J. LLC has went through the same process for the ownership change as the other ownership changes that were just approved by the board. This entity has satisfied the regulatory criteria for an ownership change. The owners, the individuals, they were vetted by our Office of Compliance and Investigation and deemed qualified to enter into the adult use cannabis market. Therefore, staff is recommending approval of this ownership change application. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve the application, seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion?
It's a great name.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp is recused. Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayno.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration is the medical satellite applications.
Thank you, Mr. Said. Director Riggs, I will turn the floor over to you to provide an overview of the satellite request.
Thank you. So Brute's Roots LLC, a 2019 RFA awardee, has put an application in for a medical satellite request in Paulsboro, New Jersey, for a dispensary. Under Jake Honig law, a qualifying alternative treatment center is allowed up to 2 satellite locations for the dispensing of medical cannabis or medical cannabis products. Brute's Roots meets all these requirements and has satisfied all the necessary criteria. Therefore, we are recommending approval of this medical satellite location application. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve the request. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wayno.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration is the adult use cannabis business conversion license applications.
Director Riggs, turn the floor back over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 5 conditional to annual conversion licenses up for consideration and recommendation today, 1 cultivator, 1 manufacturer, and 3 retailers. All these licenses have followed our licensing process where priority assignment was given, where we confirm that each application is assigned to the appropriate priority review level. We look at diversely owned business status, taxes, residency if required, and then cures are sent if needed. That priority is then verified where we confirm that documentation is in fact supports the priority that they've identified. A completeness review is conducted in our Office of Licensing, where they confirm all the required documents are submitted, the application is complete. And they not only confirm that, but they confirm that the documents are filled out appropriately and the required information is provided. Those applications are then scored. The documents are reviewed to ensure that the applicant submitted information to satisfy each of the requirements and regulation and the notice of application acceptance. At that point, our Office of Compliance and Investigations does a qualification review where the individual's financial sources, any other agreements are reviewed for regulatory compliance. Background checks are conducted and reviewed to ensure that the owners and persons of interest are qualified to enter into the adult use market. The next step is a quality control process with our licensing team, the Office of Compliance and Investigation, and our legal team, where we confirm that, yes, every step was met and all the regulations are met. And now we are at the final stage where we are recommending that these applications be approved by the board. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Mapp moves to approve the conversion applications. Is that right?
Yes.
And seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up for consideration are the adult use cannabis business annual license applications.
Director Riggs?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 6 annual licenses up for recommendation today, 2 cultivators, 3 manufacturers, and 1 retailer. They follow the same licensing process where priority assignment, priority verification, then the completeness review, the applications are then scored. There's a qualification review, quality control was met, and now we are recommending that these 6 applications be approved by the board today. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve the applications. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are expansion applications. Expanded ATC certification applications.
Thank you. Director Riggs, floor is yours.
Thank you. We have 1 expanded ATC certification that's before the board today. Illicit Gardens N.J.A.C LLC in Secaucus. We have confirmed in our Office of Compliance and Investigations that zoning and municipal approvals are met, that the labor requirements are met. As required by the law, they have certified that they have sufficient quantities of medical cannabis and medical cannabis products available to meet the reasonably anticipated needs of registered qualifying patients in accordance with the law. And therefore, we are recommending that they be approved to enter into the adult use market. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
So moved.
Commissioner Mapp moves to,
Approve.
sorry, continue.
As presented, yes.
And I will second.
All right, Commissioner Mapp moves to approve the certification application as presented. And Vice Chair Nash seconds the motion.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are the medical permits administrative extensions.
Director Riggs, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 6 permit endorsements that are up for consideration for an administrative extension today. Curaleaf NJ2 Incorporated, 2 cultivators, 1 manufacturer, and 3 retailers. We are recommending at this time that an additional administrative extension be granted, given the fact that there's ongoing litigation and based upon the advice of counsel. So that recommendation is that these be approved by the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? And the current expiration date for these endorsements is currently February 27th. Is that correct? Just want to make sure I have that right.
Yes, that's based on my understanding.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think the medical permits are March 31st, the Bordentown AMU was February 27th.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
So
So this is for the March 31st.
These are for the March 31st.
The 6 medical permit endorsements are for March 31st. That's correct.
Okay.
so we're extending everything to March 31.
That's when they currently expire.
So, okay.
Thank you for the clarification. Are there any further questions? Is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, I make the motion that we approve the extensions as presented by Chris, Director Reese.
All right. Commissioner Mapp moves to approve the extension. Commissioner Mapp, do you have a proposed date for the extension?
Another 2 months.
2 months? Okay, or additional 2 months. Right, so Commissioner Mapp has moved to approve the extension, the administrative extension for an additional 2 months. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Quickly.
Yes, Director Riggs.
They also have an adult use license in Bordentown, New Jersey that expires on February 27th. Are we is the board voting on extending that license as well through administrative extension? Or will that be a separate agenda item?
That's a separate item for
Thank you.
later today.
Thank you for the clarity.
No, not a problem. Any discussion on this motion to approve the extension for the medical permits for an additional 2 months? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes,
Vice Chair Nash,
Only because it's at the recommendation of council. My vote is a yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are the adult use cannabis business annual license renewal applications.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have 49 total renewals today for the adult use licenses. These licenses are effective for 1 year from the date of issuance and are required to be reviewed annually. Entities, and one thing I want to say is entities should be responsive to CRC's licensing team and staff. I know they do a lot of outreach to these entities to ensure that the businesses submit their renewal timely and they provide the appropriate information. The regulations require renewals to be submitted 90 days in advance of the expiration of a license. If a business does not submit a timely renewal application, they risk having that license expire and having to restart the entire application process from the start. Please be responsive to staff, be responsive to the licensing team so that they can make sure that things are on the agenda appropriately and so that your license doesn't expire and that you don't end up with a license that has expired and then we're trying to unwind that process. All of the entities that are before you today have provided the required documentation for renewal. That documentation has been reviewed by our licensing team and our Office of Compliance and Investigation, and therefore we are recommending approval at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. I believe this is for the group of 45.
That's correct. This tranche is 45.
I want to double check one thing before we continue. Okay. Sorry, Director Riggs, could I trouble you for sidebar for just a second? Just to get everybody on the same page here, we've spotted a little technical, minor technical error. That's all right. So Director Riggs' recommendation for a group of 44 annual license renewals is still the same.
44 annual licenses renewals with Curaleaf removed from that recommendation.
Great, perfect. Thank you so much, Director Riggs and Director McWhite. All right, any questions from the board regarding this group of 44 annual license renewals? Hearing no questions, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote on the group of 44 annual license renewal applications?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We
I
have-
didn't, I
Yeah.
apologize. I got ahead of myself.
There wasn't a motion.
Yes, there was no motion.
I'll make the motion to approve them.
Thank you. Commissioner Laufer moves to approve.
I'll second.
Group of 44, seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion to approve the group of 44 license renewals? Hearing no discussion now, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda, we have consideration of annual license renewal applications for Story Dispensary of Springfield. Commissioner Lawfer has recused himself from this application due to an ongoing professional relationship. On account of his recusal, he will step out of the room while the board considers this particular application. Afterward, Commissioner Lawfer will come back in and will take up the next order of business.
Thank you. Director Riggs, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and apologies for some of that confusion. Story Dispensary of Springfield LLC, they have submitted and provided all the required documentation for renewal. That documentation has been reviewed by our licensing team in the Office of Compliance and Investigations, and therefore we are recommending approval of the renewal of the Story Dispensary of Springfield's application at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board regarding this annual license renewal application for Story Dispensary of Springfield? Hearing no discussion, no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
I make the motion that we accept as Director Riggs has presented.
And I will second.
Commissioner Mapp moves to approve the application. Vice Chair Nash seconds. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer is recused. Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up on the agenda, we have consideration of annual license renewal applications for QCC Group, Queen City Remedies, and 420 Dispensary. Commissioner Mapp has recused herself from these applications due to an ongoing professional relationship. On account of her recusal, she will step out of the room while the board considers these particular applications. Afterward, Commissioner Mapp will come back in and will take up the next order of business.
Thank you. Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairwoman. The three applications that are presented for adult use license renewal, these entities have provided all the required documentation for renewal. That information and documentation has been reviewed by our licensing team in the Office of Compliance and Investigations, and we are recommending that these three licenses be renewed for another year. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve
And I will second the three.
license renewals, seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp is recused, Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Do we just need one moment? Okay, so we're gonna take a very short break before we move on to the next agenda item. Take 5 minutes, so we'll come back here at 2:30.
2:30 now.
Oh, sorry, 2:35. 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I'll wait for Splendid. All right, so we're gonna get back to it. We'll get back to it now. So Mr. Saeed, can you please announce the next agenda item?
The next item on the agenda up for consideration is an administrative extension for Harvest Works Farm Corporation.
Thank you. Director Riggs?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Staff's recommending an administrative extension for this license. They experienced some portal issues in submitting their renewal, although they did wait rather long and should have been more responsive to licensing. I do believe that an administrative extension is appropriate at this time, and we are recommending that the board approve that.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve an administrative extension. Commissioner Laufer, to what date? do you think that?
We'll go 2 meetings.
For 2
months.
2 months, okay. Thank you. So Commissioner Laufer has moved to approve an administrative extension for 2 months for Harvest Works Farms Corporation. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion to approve an administrative extension for 2 months for Harvest Works Farms Corporation?
Reply to your compliance officer, please.
Indeed.
I felt left out. Everybody else was saying it.
And I will reiterate what the chair said, that licensing reaches out 120 days for renewals. So please, it is your responsibility to get them in on time, not the day of a meeting. So just word to the wise.
Well said. Any further discussion on this motion? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
That I will ditto to the team, provide the information that's required as soon as it is required.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
My vote is yes, and I want to underscore that our licensing team is extremely generous with spending time trying to chase down businesses for them to submit their documents. Your business, for our business owners, your business is yours to run. It is your responsibility to provide the information, the application that is needed in a timely manner. We offer the opportunity for people to cure deficiencies, right? We want to give that opportunity to people because things happen. However, if we are chasing you down for your documents, that's not going to last forever. But with that, my answer is yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration is an administrative extension for Curaleaf N.J.A.C at the Bordentown location.
Director Riggs, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Similar to the medical permits that were administratively extended, based upon the advice of council, it is recommended that Curaleaf N.J.A.C.'s Bordentown adult use license be administratively extended, consistent with the time frame that we extended those medical permits. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Riggs. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no question, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve the administrative extension congruent with the other Curaleaf administrative extensions.
Commissioner Laufer moves to approve the administrative extension congruent with the other administrative extension for Curaleaf. So I believe that would take us to to May 31st.
Correct.
Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion. Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp, Vice Chair Nash,
Only at the advice of counsel, my vote is a reluctant yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration is an annual license suspension.
Director Riggs, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Can I go to the next slide, please? Staff is recommending a summary suspension of Moultiam, New Jersey's manufacturing and cultivation license pursuant to our regulations under 20.8A because of an immediate threat to public safety for the business.
Geez, Chris.
Apologies.
Apologies, we have.
Commissioner
three people
Mapp
for that.
is recused from this application due to a personal relationship. Staff is recommending that a summary suspension be given to both of their license, their cultivation and manufacturing under the rules 20.8A because of an immediate threat to public safety for the business to continue its operations. On February 3rd of 2026, during a routine site inspection of Moultiam's licensed premises for their cultivation and manufacturing license that was conducted by our CRC compliance officers, the compliance team that was out there was advised by an owner that Moultiam had been conducting an outdoor grow at an unapproved and unlicensed location in the state. The company had been then moving and transporting the cultivated flower to its licensed location for storage, processing, and packaging. On February 3rd through February 5th, administrative holds were placed on Moultiam's licenses and the packages that originated from that license, which affected a significant number of downstream products in the New Jersey cannabis market. On February 6th, taking swift action, the CRC released the hold on all manufactured products after confirming that there was no public health risk to the consumers due to the fact that all of these products had multiple lab tests and certificate of analysis attached to all these products. Ultimately, the flower was sold through our metric system to other businesses who were deceived and used it for manufacturing purposes, mostly to create THC distillate. Everyone along the way, including the CRC and these businesses, was deceived by this one business, this one bad actor. The CRC is established based on two principles, two pillars, equity and safety. Both were in mind as staff immediately jumped into action during this investigation to achieve the most equitable result for all those deceived, including the CRC and any downstream businesses, while maintaining, which has always been the thing, number one and paramount in our minds and 100% confirmed, the safety of all products. I'd like to commend Director Urbish and his staff on the exceptional investigatory work that they've accomplished over the last week. Through long hours, thorough record and data review, and late night discussions, our team demonstrated its commitment to safeguarding public safety while working to minimize adverse impacts on the New Jersey cannabis market. This issue was handled appropriately and efficiently, given the circumstances, and I'm extremely proud of the investigation team and the way that this agency handled this situation. With that said, bad actors like Moultiam should have their cultivation and manufacturing licenses summarily suspended as staff continues to handle this ongoing investigation. The continued operation of these businesses poses an immediate public safety risk. I am recommending that the board take action on these licenses today, but I do want to reiterate that there is no public safety concern related to the downstream products, as staff was able to swiftly confirm and ensure that the appropriate lab testing and certificate of analysis were attached to all of these products. Lastly, this needs to be a wake-up call to the cannabis industry in New Jersey. The CRC is committed and remains committed to safety as a regulatory agency. But if things seem too good to be true, or they seem strange in any way, the cannabis businesses should be reporting those things to their compliance officers so that the compliance officers can look into those things and figure out if we have a problem so we don't end up in situations like this. Know who you're doing business with. This is a highly regulated industry. If you see something, say something. Partnership with the industry in identifying bad actors is necessary as we continue to build the premier cannabis market on the East Coast. And with that, I recommend that we issue a summary suspension to Moultiam for both its manufacturing and cultivation licenses. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Director Riggs. And thank you also to Director Urbish and his team for their swift response and their dedication to making sure that we take appropriate action against any wrongdoing. Are there any questions from the board regarding the information provided by Director Riggs?
I just
Commissioner
want to
Lawfer.
reiterate, Director Riggs, there's not a public health risk, correct?
Commissioner Lawfer, that's correct. Staff was able to swiftly confirm that all of the downstream products had the appropriate lab testing and have passed that lab testing and have attached certificate of analysis with each of those products.
So we've been on top of this from minute one, and everything that's out in the market should be considered safe.
Everything that is not on administrative hold that is out and able to be purchased by a consumer is safe.
Thank you, and great job to Director Urbish, and you did pretty well yourself, so thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lawfer.
Any additional questions for Director Riggs? With that, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to summarily suspend Mollitium.
Commissioner Laufer moves to summarily suspend the both cultivation and manufacturing licenses.
That is
for this
correct.
For this entity, yes. All right. And Vice Chair Nash seconds the motion. Is there any discussion on this motion? I want to note the egregiousness of the behaviors here. Illicit grow operations when you know that you are not approved, when you know you do not have a license for these said operations, and the efforts to disguise the material is egregious and will not go unchecked. I'm supportive of this motion to summarily suspend these licenses pending the conclusion of the commission's investigations, so that at that time we can take final and decisive action in response to the violations that have occurred. As I noted earlier, the commission is responsible for holding both ourselves and businesses accountable. This speaks to the integrity of not just our industry, but also our agency as well. So I thank again staff for their collaboration and cooperation and bringing this to the board's attention so that we can take swift action. Is there any further discussion on this motion? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Said, on the motion to summarily suspend both cultivation and manufacturing licenses for Mollitium, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp is recused. Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Chairwoman Wainu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are requests for rule waivers.
Thank you. For this, we'll turn it over to Chief Counsel Twazon.
So we have three waiver requests that the board will be considering today. The standard for whether the board can grant a waiver of our regulations falls under 17:30-3.7A, which says that the commission may waive a regulation if it is that the commission determines it is necessary to achieve the purposes of the act, is necessary to provide access to cannabis items to consumers, and 3, does not create a danger to the public health, safety, or welfare. The first waiver request the board will be considering today is WR 045 Can Powerment. They're requesting a waiver of 17:30-11.5D3 and 17:30-11.5D6 to produce a single serve baked good up to 100 milligrams without physical scoring or demarcation. Should be noted that these physical scoring or serving size of 10 milligrams is in the statute, and the board does not have, or the commission does not have the authority to waive the statute under the CREAM Act. With that, I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel Toizon. Are there any questions from the board for Chief Counsel? Hearing no questions from the board, is there a motion on this matter? I will move to deny the waiver request, given that the specific provision sought to be waived is written into statute, and the commission does not have any legal authority to waive a provision of the statute. The statute says that standardized serving of a cannabis product shall be no more than 10 milligrams of active THC. And that's something that we simply cannot overrule on our end. So I move that we deny the waiver request.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Is there any discussion on this motion to deny?
I just want to encourage the person that submitted this waiver request to find a way to score meaning cut their product so that they can continue to, is it on? I'll repeat that. The person that submitted the waiver request, I want to encourage them to find a way to score their product so that they can continue to offer such a really great product. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any further discussion on this motion? I will also note that we do offer in our regulations, when we expanded the edible products that are available, we do offer the option for having edible products that aren't scorable, right? That are not able to be delineated easily. For example, like granular items. So please work with your compliance officer to see if there are other forms of allowable edible products that might serve your purposes and achieve your goals. Any additional discussion?
No.
Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
I vote yes to deny.
Commissioner Mapp, Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next waiver request is WR 049 from Bud's Goods N.J. They're requesting a waiver of 16.1C to take cannabis product from the cultivator, pack it into pre-rolls, return it to the cultivator without sending the cannabis product for testing. And with that, I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair, for a board vote.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions for the board, from the board?
Yeah, so they're seeking a testing waiver, meaning they don't want to test the product, correct?
Their request is that, it is when they're a manufacturer, they receive it and it's in final form. They don't believe it needs to be tested before it's sent back to the cultivator. However, Office of Compliance has made a determination that every single time it moves from one facility to another, it should be accompanied with a test just for public safety.
Sure.
Thank you, Commissioner Laufer. Any additional questions? Hearing no further questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to deny waiver request 049 for the reasons stated by Chief Counsel.
I second.
Moved by Vice Chair Nash, seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Saeed, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The final waiver request today is WR 051 by Royal Dynastic Organics LLC. They're requesting a waiver of several regulations, effectively to remove the municipal resolution requirement or municipal approval requirement. And should note that that is something that's in the statute as well. It's in the law, and that the commission does not have the authority to remove or waive the municipal approval requirement. With that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I move to deny WR 51. The local approval is, as Chief Counsel said, after explicitly stated in the statute, and as a mayor, I know I would not want a business of this type. Springfield has them, which I'm recused from, but Springfield has them, but a town should choose whether or not they want them. So I move to deny the waiver request.
Commissioner Lawfer moves to deny the waiver request. Is there a second?
I second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Any discussion on this motion to deny the waiver request? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are litigation matters.
Thank you. I'll turn the floor over to Chief Counsel Toizon.
So there were two different enforcement actions that the board had imposed previously. The first one that the board will be considering to approve a settlement for is INV-126-24. And that is with Green Analytics, New Jersey. And today the commission is now voting to act consistent with the discussions we had in executive session, and the recommendation it made to resolve this enforcement action. And with that, I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve.
Commissioner Lawfer moves to approve settlement as discussed during prior executive sessions. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Is there any discussion on this motion to approve? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp, Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next is a settlement for INV-207-24. That was with Garden Society LLC. Today, the commission is now voting to act consistent with the discussions it had in previous executive sessions and the recommendation to resolve this enforcement action. That I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Move to approve the settlement.
Commissioner Lawfer moves to approve settlement as discussed in prior executive sessions.
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp, Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item on the agenda up for consideration are notices of enforcement actions.
Chief Counsel, I'll turn the floor over to you to start us off with our first enforcement action item.
So the first enforcement action is INV-71-2025. The entity name is Ohm Theory LLC, and we issued a notice of violation to the entity for failure to adhere to the regulations by selling expired products and failing to conduct monthly inventory of its products. That turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter? Could you speak into the microphone?
Sorry. Should I make the motion that based on violation 17? Can you hear me? No wonder. Can you hear me now? Madam Chair, I make the motion that based on violation 17:39.13A, we impose a fine of $1,000, and the other two violations, which are 17:30.14.2 and 17:30.11.8A, a total of $2,500, which brings the whole total to $3,500.
Second.
Moved by, so Commissioner Mapp moves to impose a penalty of $1,000 for one violation, $2,500 for the others, for a total of $3,500. And that is seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Vice
I
Chair
would
Nash.
like to amend the motion to include metric training for all of the employees and owners of the company.
Good inclusion.
Vice Chair Nash moves to amend the underlying motion to include include a requirement for additional metric training for all employees, you said?
Yes.
All right. Is there a second on this motion to amend the underlying motion? I will second the motion. So we have before us the motion to amend the underlying motion. Should the underlying motion before us be amended to add metric training for all workers? That is the present question. On this motion to amend the underlying motion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes, with a time frame for the training to be done. Like about a 6 month time frame.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
So now we have for us an amended motion. Should the present motion now is to impose a penalty of a total of $3,500 and require additional metric training for all workers and Commissioner Mapp has noted that she would like to see that additional training completed within 6 months. Is everyone clear on the present motion before us?
Yes.
Wonderful. So on the present motion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash.
Yes.
Chairwoman Waynu.
My vote is yes. I echo the need for additional training. As was noted by our investigator, this business was quote, suffering from gross organizational inventory mismanagement, end quote. The investigator here also noted that management, quote, had little to no knowledge of properly utilizing metric and relied entirely on fast item turnover and his memory for being aware of each item's expiration date for the business's over 700 active packages with positive inventory quantities. I think this just underscores the need for businesses to make sure they know what they're doing. And so I'm thankful that Vice Chair Nash has added some additional metric training for this. Again, I noted for our business owners, make sure compliance is on your mind. If you are already operational, compliance is key. Review your rules to know what standards you are held to. So review subchapter 9 and also review the subchapter that corresponds to your particular cannabis activity. So hopefully we can avoid or minimize this kind of gross organizational inventory mismanagement in the future. With that, my vote is yes.
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action for consideration today is INV 102 2025. We issued an NOV to New Jersey Canalytics for failure to adhere to the regulations for transporting cannabis from its licensed location in New Jersey to its unlicensed location in Maryland for cannabis testing. And with that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair, for a board vote.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter? I will move to issue a 14-day suspension of the laboratory's testing license. Said suspension being suspended for 6 months so that the laboratory can complete additional metric training. If the training for all of the 18 employees and 2 managers is completed in a timely fashion, and if the commission receives confirmation from Metric that the training has been completed, then the 14-day suspension will not go into effect. If, however, that condition is not met, then the 14-day suspension of their testing laboratory license would be imposed. So I'm moving for a 14-day suspension, a suspended 14-day suspension of their license, plus a fine of $10,000 for the gross negligence and inexcusable action of taking cannabis across state lines.
Madam Chair, would you be open to increasing that fine?
I certainly am. There hasn't been a second to this motion just yet, so.
No, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Before I second it, would you be amenable to amending your motion to a $25,000 fine?
Yes, sir, I would.
Then I can second that motion.
Wonderful. So I will move to issue a 14-day license suspension. Sorry, let me do this the other way. I move to issue a penalty of $25,000 plus a 14-day license suspension. The license suspension being suspended for 6 months on the condition that New Jersey Canalytics and their employees complete three required metric trainings within 6 months. Those required metric trainings being metric training admin, N.J.A.C advanced testing facility, and understanding common errors in testing. And is there a second?
Yeah, I second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Thank you. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action is INV 124 2025. The entity name is High Rollers Dispensary, and should note that
Great name.
the board did impose a penalty back in December, and it's on the agenda today just to correct the December meeting board action on that enforcement action. Turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to rescind Resolution 2025-1217-22 due to an administrative error and impose a penalty of 3,500.
All right. So Vice Chair Nash moves to rescind Resolution 2025-1217-22 and impose a penalty of $3,500. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion?
I'll be abstaining because I was not on the commission.
Understood. Thank you, Commissioner Laufer. Any further discussion on this motion? Hearing no further discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer has abstained. Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Give me a chance to change one.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Next is INV -142-2025. The entity name is Cream Dispensary. They were issued a notice of violation for failure to adhere to the regulations by failing to track its inventory of its cannabis products in metric. And with that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we impose a fine of $2,000 total for each violation. So 1,000 per violation.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded for imposing a penalty of a total of $2,000. Is there any discussion on this motion?
Good. It's just a question. I mean, we've asked for metric training for everyone else. Do we want to include it on this one or no?
Is there any response or additional discussion from the board? Commissioner Laufer, I believe that it's a fair question to raise. I don't from my review of the evidence and the investigation materials, I don't believe that additional metric training is warranted in this instance.
Yeah, that's fine then.
But I am open to being persuaded otherwise.
I mean, they didn't do it. The question is whether or not they know how. You know what I mean? Like, we've assessed it for other business, for other notices of violation, who've kind of done the same thing. So I think in the spirit of fairness, they should have to eat their vegetables too.
In fairness, the NOV says that they were previously notified of discrepancies with its inventory of cannabis product. So I can't imagine it would hurt to ask for it.
Any further discussion on it? So Commissioner Laufer, are you moving to
Yeah.
amend?
I'll move to amend to add the metric training. If Commissioner Mapp is good with that.
I'm good with that.
All right, Commissioner Laufer moves to amend the underlying motion to add additional metric training for Cream Retail Dispensary Corp. Is there a second on this motion to amend?
Second.
Seconded by Vice Chair Nash. Any discussion on this motion to amend the underlying motion? Hearing none. On the motion to amend the underlying motion so that it adds metric training, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Right, so now we have the amended motion before us. The amended motion is to impose a penalty of $2,000 total and require additional metric training for the business and its employees. Is there any additional discussion on this now amended motion? Hearing no further discussion on the amended motion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action is INV 143 2025. The entity name is MMD New Jersey, Inc. They were issued a notice of violation for also failing to utilize metric to track its inventory of cannabis products and for failing to update its product inventory on a daily basis. With that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board?
So this would, you'd categorize this as more egregious than the previous failure to track, right? Or wrong? Or is it the same? Okay, then.
In my eyes.
My understanding of this one is that there was, it didn't sync with Blaze. That was
Okay.
the issue.
Okay.
Chief
That's-
Counsel, do you
that-
also want to respond to the question?
No, that's my understanding too, with it was failing to sync with that POS system. So I think it was kind of like a similar type of thing as the last enforcement action.
Thank you. Any additional questions from the board? Hearing no further questions, is there a motion on this matter?
I move to issue a monetary penalty of $2,000 total for the 2 violations.
Second.
Moved and seconded to impose a penalty of $2,000 total. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes, and with that, I just want to remind folks, the regulatory requirement is to update your inventories daily so that this doesn't happen. Again, do your due diligence now so that you don't have to spend hours cleaning up a mess later on.
And a few $1,000.
The next
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action is INV 145 2025. The entity name is Hashery LLC. They were issued a notice of violation by allowing cannabis paraphernalia to be clearly visible from the exterior of the dispensary, which is a violation of the regulations. With that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Nope. Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we impose a fine of $500 for them keeping the doors open so that product was visible.
Commissioner Mapp moves to impose a penalty of $500. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Lawfer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action is INV 148 2025. The entity name is Toke Lane Dispensary. They were issued a notice of violation for failure to adhere to the regulations by effectuating an ownership change prior to board approval. With that, turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I make the motion that based on both violations, we charge a total of $7,000. That's $3,500 per violation.
Drew up it to 10.
$10,000. So $5,000 per violation.
Second.
So Commissioner Mapp moves to impose a penalty of $10,000 total.
Yeah.
Commissioner Laufer seconds the motion.
These regs are here for a reason.
Is there any discussion on this motion?
Yes, I just want to state that this entity was told by compliance that they were not permitted to make an ownership transfer, and they did it anyway.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I actually have a question for Commissioner Laufer.
Hit me.
For any particular facts in this case that lead you to believe that $7,000 penalty is not enough and that a $10,000 penalty is more appropriate?
Yeah, so I would go back to what Commissioner Nash just said, is that, you know, when you ask for permission and are told no and do it anyway, you know, the penalty should be stiffer. You can't plead ignorance. That's one. And two, I mean, you know, actually, honestly, it's really just one. When you ask for permission and you say, and you're told no and you do it anyway, I think the penalty should be stiffer.
Understood. Thank you very much. I'm supportive of the motion. And just wanted to make sure that we're on record for identifying what aggravating factors are at
Yeah,
play here.
no, totally.
Any additional discussion on this motion? Hearing no further discussion on the motion to impose a penalty of a total of $10,000. Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
The next enforcement action is INV 149 2025. The entity name is BCAF Dispensary, and they were issued a notice of violation for failing to adhere to the regulations by utilizing unauthorized vehicles to complete deliveries. With that, I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Yes, I move to issue a monetary penalty of $3,500 total for the two violations.
Vice Chair Nash moves to issue a penalty of $3,500 total. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mapp. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes.
And the final enforcement action today is INV 150 2025. The entity name is Rush Buds Dispensary. They were issued a notice of violations for failure to adhering to the law and regulations by permitting an employee to commence work prior to the commission issuing an employee the cannabis business card ID. And with that, I turn it back over to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Chief Counsel. Are there any questions from the board?
Yeah.
Commissioner Laufer?
Didn't the standard change in 4847 that just passed during lame duck?
Director Riggs?
I don't think the standard didn't change by requiring cannabis business ID cards. The standard change in allowing the commission to not require background checks for
Got it.
line level employees, which would need to be amended in our regulations.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions from the board? Hearing no further questions, is there a motion on this matter?
Madam Chair, I make the motion that we impose a fine of a total of $1,000, $500 for each violation.
Second, get your ID cards, people.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on this motion? Hearing no discussion, Mr. Said, can you please call the vote?
Commissioner Laufer,
Yes.
Commissioner Mapp,
Yes.
Vice Chair Nash,
Yes.
Chairwoman Wenu.
Yes.
The motion passes. The next item up on the agenda, we have the open public comment period.
As we open the floor to public comments, I want to thank our Office of Compliance and Investigations team, our investigators, our compliance officers, and their supervisors for their hard work on these investigative matters. They've also been producing outstanding investigation reports. The thoroughness and the details give us a full and clear picture of what's happening and allow us to make informed decisions. So thank you to our OCI team for their detailed reports. Now, for public comments, as we do with every board meeting, members of the public can submit comments during or after this board meeting in writing via our website, nj.gov/cannabis/meetings. The deadline for submitting written comments for today's meeting is 5 o'clock tomorrow, Friday, February 13. Written comments will be shared with the commission members and they will be made public. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. Mr. Saeed will call out the names of our registered speakers. We're going to start first with our speakers who are in person, and then we will move to any speakers who have registered who are joining us by phone. When you hear your name called, if you're in person, come up to the microphone. I believe the microphone is already turned on. Somebody will confirm that that is the case. For those who are joining by phone, Mr. Saeed will instruct you on how to unmute yourself. 3 minutes. We have a timer here to your left. And when that timer goes off, we'll just ask that you kindly wrap up your comments. So with that, Mr. Saeed, can you please call on our first speakers?
Thank you, Chairwoman. As a reminder, public speakers during this afternoon's public comment period will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful and concise during your comments. The first person on the list is Benjamin Byrd.
Hello, board. My name is Benjamin Byrd Senior. Benjamin Byrd Senior. I just wanted to address the board on a situation I'm having with one of your dispensaries that I invested $427,500 into. And during the time of the investment, the applicant used information that had to do with me to upgrade his license from I guess temporary status to annual license. And the information that he used of mine to submit was incorrect and not true. So I was wondering if the Office of Compliance and Investigation can maybe look into it and get to the bottom of it. And then maybe even more be revealed when you look into it. I'm trying not to lose my money. The store just opened up a few months ago. Of course, I started funding this project on October, I think the 11th of 2023. And the store was supposed to open up in January of 2024, but it didn't happen. So I look forward to maybe having contact with the Office of Compliance to try to get to the bottom of it. And how do I do that, please?
We'll have somebody from our staff will connect with you directly. So don't leave without connecting with one of our teammates here.
Yeah.
And they'll give you any directions for follow-up so we can.
All right.
take
And then
action.
I'll hold the rest of my questions for the Office of Compliance. Thank you. And you're doing a great job, by the way. I've been the mayor of my town for 8 years. I serve on the committee, so I see you dancing back and forth when things go wrong. And that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin. The next person on the list is Michael Odenwald. I don't think I see that person. The next person is Thomas Genefra. Thank you.
How's it going, everybody? Good afternoon. My name's Thomas Shinefra. I'm the CEO and founder and co-owner of Terp Taxi Cannabis Delivery. Two things I just want to discuss. The first being the location change fee for a Class 6. Our landlord was having a little bit of trouble with his insurance renewal. And basically, they were stating they wouldn't, or excuse me, the existing company he was working for raised his fees for whatever reason, and he went to speak to a new company to see if he was maybe getting overcharged. And all of the new companies he spoke to denied him coverage because there's a cannabis business on the location. So that's, I feel like, from what I hear, the normal sometimes. I think, immediately what came into mind was the phone call I received, which was, we might have to include in your lease that you would have to basically leave because I don't want to be overcharged or denied coverage for some reason because, your business is here. And then that leads us with switching a location. And then when I double checked the regulations to see if there was any cost potentially associated with that, it was, from my understanding, $10,000. And while we might be a standard size delivery business, we still are a new business. We just recently opened up, and we still are a small margin business, which has definitely not been easy in New Jersey. And so I would just ask possibly for some consideration to potentially reconsider the amount of that fee. Specifically, I mean, at least for our license, especially considering we have an administrative office, which quite frankly, we're never really at, just for the sake of the license. Yeah, that's really it. Or maybe for certain, if we can even specify it even more, if that's not possible, maybe for Class 6 administrative offices that don't have any product in the facility at all, which we don't either. So that was really the first big topic we had. I wanted to discuss today. And the second would be, I brought this up in a previous public comment period a couple of years ago. I mentioned in Colorado, our software partners are from Colorado, and they mentioned they originally started their own delivery business there. And that's because the state made it equitable enough for them for basically to require all retail dispensaries to partner with a social equity delivery service for the first 2 years. And I would just ask if we can also reconsider that. I'm going to wrap up my time here, but delivery is a small margin game, extremely difficult in a competitively priced industry. Sometimes you have to add fees on the deliveries, and the more fees, the more expensive the product gets, and it makes it more difficult and challenging to attract that customer. And so you might say free delivery, but we run into marginal problems there as well. So that allows, and then allowing dispensaries to do their own who have higher margins and the ability to do delivery themselves. You combine those two together and it kind of puts us out of the equation a little bit. So I just wanted to see if there was any reconsideration for those two things. That's all. Thank you very much for your time, or for my time.
Thank you, Thomas. The next person on the list is Jessie Marie Villers.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Jessie Marie Villers, owner and CEO of Baked by the River Dispensary in Lambertville, New Jersey. I'd like to begin by again requesting that the CRC re-implement the provisional badging process for employee badges. With fingerprinting and background check delays, businesses and new hires are being placed in extremely difficult situations. Even if unintentional, these delays create inequitable access to employment and disproportionately impact small businesses that don't have the staffing flexibility of large corporations. Next, I want to express my support for Assembly Bill A1291, which establishes additional requirements for cannabis testing laboratories. I strongly encourage the Commission to support this bill. During the December review of lab findings, it was deeply concerning to see certain labs reporting months of zero or near zero failure rates for yeast and mold, especially when those labs are testing the majority of samples in the state. As a retailer ordering products weekly, I need confidence that the test results are consistent and reliable, regardless of which lab is being used. Lab shopping for inflated THC levels or to avoid failed results should not create a competitive advantage. A1291 is an important step toward restoring transparency and trust for both operators and consumers. I'd like to also ask the Commissioner to remain mindful on how sweeping regulatory responses impact independent businesses and make sure that there is better transparency for consumers and licensees. The recent metric hold is a good example. Many operators still don't have enough information to be able to transparently talk to customers about the products that are once again available. My dispensary was not greatly impacted. The only cultivators on our shelf are independent New Jersey businesses whose practices we vetted ourselves. But some retailers who had large portions of their inventory placed on hold going into the Super Bowl weekend. For a large corporation, that may be manageable, but for a small struggling business, it can be devastating. The micro businesses, diversely owned businesses, and impact zone businesses were prioritized in licensing and should be protected when sudden market disruptions occur. When sweeping actions are necessary, safety nets should be considered. Right now, we need greater transparency to be able to give real answers to our customers. In the future, I'd like to see if there is a way to better support independent operators through these kinds of industry hurdles. I'd also like to express my support for Ken Powerman's waiver for higher dose single-serving edibles. I get this request at my dispensary all the time. The fat-based edibles like Ken Powerman's edibles are some of the best edibles for medical patients. The higher dose is directly needed for med patients and many consumers. The sooner we can get this changed, the better. And then finally, I wanted to address home cultivation in New Jersey. Although it falls outside the Commission's direct authority, I believe that New Jersey Cannabis Regulatory Commission can and should support the current push for legal home grow. As a business owner, I see it as a moral imperative. Home cultivation is the only true path to equal access. There is no evidence from other adult use states that regulated home grow harms the legal market. I will not allow my business to be used as justification for denying people the right to grow their own. The Commission can be a meaningful voice in showing how home cultivation can coexist and even complement a regulated market. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Jesse. The next person on the list is Martha Figaro.
Hello, Mata Figaro. Nice to meet you guys all in the flesh. It's kind of cool. So most people know me as Butter Cake, the first brand to produce a brownie here in the state. I'm also licensed Class 2 as manufacturing under Can Powerment. And I came here simply to say, A, happy Black History Month. Thank you guys all for allowing somebody like me to exist in this space. And so I would be remiss if I did not publicly say specifically thank you to you, Diana, for a lot of decisions that you make that allow me to exist, which also allow many girlies like us to also participate in the legal market. Secondly, not as an operator, but just as a general constituent, I do understand that home grow does not fall under your purview at this time. I do understand that the government for our state is changing as well. So as we enter into this change in which a lot of these seats I'm looking at will be filled by different positions, I implore and encourage you to speak to your colleagues in the space about home grow. Encourage them to learn about the benefits of home grow. Encourage them to understand why home grow actually is a good thing for our state. As an operator, I fully support it. As a human being, I fully support it. I also would like to say that as the co-chair of the manufacturing committee for the N.J.A.C, we also would like to send a very big thank you to you guys for handling what happened last week with SKUgate very quickly. A lot of operators were talking to each other, specifically manufacturers. Luckily for me, I was not impacted because of my own personal business practices, but to see my colleagues in the space experience such uncertainty and not knowing where to go and where to move next, and some of them still experiencing holds and products sitting on their properties that they can't do anything with and they have no guidance for. So handling all of that, thank you so much. But there's always a but. Please, moving forward, more clarity for regular people that don't understand the nuances of what we've got going on as operators. Yes, the product did test clean. Yes, it is lifted in metric. Yes, that is a huge win for us as operators, but it seems like the general perception is that it's not understood why. And so if there could be some posts or some videos just helping the general public understand the reason why this impact was so big and so important would mean a lot to us. So again, happy Black History Month. Thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to what is coming for us next. And I definitely will be looking to help change that statute so that you guys can make decisions that would better impact our entire industry. Thanks.
Thank you, Martha. The next person on the list is Thomas Norcia.
Thomas Norcia, New Jersey Hemp Growers Association and GrowWorks. So I'm here for a few things. Ruiz's hemp bill is on the top of it. The New Jersey licensed hemp farmers don't participate in psychoactive materials. April 13th, me personally, I will probably be destroying $150,000 to $200,000 worth of product. It doesn't make sense. You know, people that are employed by the Department of Agriculture are probably going to lose their jobs. People that rely on full spectrum CBD now have to travel out of state for it because you guys don't allow it. The 0.4 that you guys are going to allow in your products, that's isolate. It's not full spectrum. It does nothing for seizures. So there's a big problem here. You were there, Riggs, when we all testified under Ruiz's bill. She stated this will not harm the New Jersey hemp farmers. People behind us heard that. We all heard it. We need a letter of intent. If you guys request it, they will give it to you. It's crazy that we get ignored. Senator Scutori has been ignoring us for years now. Ruiz has been ignoring us. Last night, I got fed up. 6:30 last night, I made a Facebook comment on Ruiz's last post. Within an hour and a half, I got an email last night, 8:45, from Erica in her office. Isn't it wild that I have to comment on a senator's Facebook post to get a response when I'm a licensed business by the Department of Agriculture? It's insane. Something has to happen here, whether it's a low class, a new category for us hemp farmers, that's a low THC category that goes by federal guidelines. So I could sell my full spectrum products as is in your adult use market. Why am I destroying product? It makes no sense. Now I'm going to get to the mess of the 40 acres, 330,000 pound biomass that's in the town next to me. That you guys just allowed in metric. Just sweep it under the rug like it's not really a big deal. There's people like me, I've been growing in this state since 1998. I've been licensed since 2020. I risked my ass. I have the same exact extraction equipment as your people. I have the same grow products and stuff to grow. My facilities cost just as much money, and yet my product's not compliant. Why? Because I don't have a metric tag? Does a metric tag make a product compliant? It makes no sense here. In a way, it's a mess, but it's a clean mess. It goes to show you that outdoor farms can survive. Why am I growing 4 acres outside, but that you guys say isn't compliant, but yet this guy got away with growing 40 plus acres? It's all over the newspapers up there. It's all over everything up there. You guys can't say you didn't know about it. That's crazy if you didn't know about it. I've known about this for months.
Recording in progress.
It's insane. About 30 seconds left. Last thing I'm going to say, home grow is a must. This is the Garden State. No, it's not you guys, but same thing. Create another license category. Get some money out of it. The fines you guys are giving are crazy. Get some more money. Obviously, you need it. You know, and clearly the biomass that was needed, that affected 300 SKUs. That's crazy. It got that far. Meanwhile, you guys are supposed to be a regulatory commission. This would have never happened under the Department of Agriculture. You guys should hire John Kerr from the hemp program. We never had aphids, human hair and pre-rolls. We never had lab shopping. We never had 40 acres of illegal grow under John Kerr. Hemp program is more compliant than your adult use market. Why am I destroying $200,000 worth of product on April 12th, April 13th? It's absurd. You guys should do something about it. Get in touch with Erica from Ruiz's office. It's sad that I had to comment on a senator's Facebook post.
You just said they would give me time. He said, you said they're gonna give me time. So I'll just speak right here, right now then. If you won't let me get up there and speak, I will take my time right now. How does that sound? I don't give a f. They aren't gonna let me speak, then I'm gonna speak.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir,
I did.
sir.
You want to see my proof of my registration?
Sir,
What
I'm
do you
talking.
want from me?
Sir, I'm talking to you right now. Sir, I'm talking to you. Sir. All right, you got 3 seconds to bring it down a notch because I'm just talking to you right now. All right, I'm talking to you directly. It is okay. It will be fine. You will have. just like you had opportunities in the past, you will have an opportunity to speak. We will hear from you today, but I need you to calm down because this is going to be your last and only warning before I'm going to ask the state trooper to remove you. All right. Because I need you to bring it from here down to here. Can we agree on that? Can we agree on that? Yeah. Perfect. Thank you very much. Back on side. All right. Perfect. Thank you so much. You're good. All right. Perfect. Thank you. So
Chair Waynu?
Yeah.
Since the speaker that registered last in time for phone is in person, can I call on her now?
absolutely.
Okay.
Joel Schoen is registered as an attendee. I don't know if that got messed up.
Thank you. Mr. Saeed, next speaker.
Andrea Rabel?
Hello, my name is Andrea Rabel, and I'm happy to talk to you today, but let's all just take a breath because it seems like tensions are high in the room for a second, and I'm nervous too. Let's talk about last week. I bet the industry and the staff and anybody who really understood the extent of this administrative hold situation, I bet your stomach dropped. I bet your mind started racing, billion questions. What do we do? These products that we depend on, suddenly they're not here. What does it mean? Are they safe? Are they not? What happens if these products can't be put back on shelves? The people that depend on it, how much collateral damage would there be? The scale of the impact to the market and the people could have been disastrous. I don't envy your position at all, but I do empathize with it because that's what consumers and patients feel every single day in this market when we don't know. We're at the mercy of the market if our products will be there tomorrow or not. The line between illegally grown marijuana and compliant cannabis might be explicit in the law, but situations like this make it clear that that single line does not represent safety or define what is right and wrong in different situations. Within about 24 hours, you proved that that line could be bent. Products containing illegally grown marijuana were released on dispensary shelves because safety, maintaining patient access, and minimizing collateral damage were prioritized. Let me be clear, I believe you made the right decision. But I don't think that decision is without consequence, and raises a lot of other emotions for me. There is no way to respectfully articulate the nuance to my outrage at the conditions in New Jersey right now. I am enraged that while the industry profits off of products containing material from an illegal marijuana grow, the war on private home grow continues. People are arrested, raided for a single plant. Someone was just sentenced to 6 years for 11 plants while the industry is profiting off of acres. For the industry, I'm afraid the next single bad actor could be a lab and your market would be unsalvageable overnight. For a consumer, we're facing years in prison for things like interstate travel, but people get re-education. 40 acres get sold. I can't focus on the bad emotions or I will actually have seizures in front of you from the stress. So I'm going to try to just move past it. We need home cultivation protections for individuals in this state. We need preventative measures in place for this industry. You can't prevent bad actors, but you can track yield. We need data transparency, better oversight, whistleblower protections, because right now, unfortunately, I'm acting in a lot of ways as a whistleblower collective, and I know more is coming. We need direct action. We need the bill A1291, which has the opportunity for a hearing in a few weeks in the Assembly Oversight Committee. We need Governor Sherrill to take direct action for home grow because those bills have been sitting for 20 years and we've been feeling the pressure you felt for one day. We need an opportunity forward. What happened here is a direct result of a state that has continually prioritized market growth over market integrity or patient needs. I hope under Governor Sherrill's administration, we will see a swift and significant course correction.
Thank you, Andrea. I'll be moving on to now the calling in portion. Just bear with me.
Mr. Saeed, before we get to the in-person folks, have you been able to confirm that the gentleman
Yeah.
did register to speak?
Yeah.
All right, so he'll be at
Did not.
Oh, did not.
Not within the time frame.
Ah, I see. Okay, okay. So, what we'll do is I'll go ahead and give you, sir, I'm talking, it's just me and you. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to speak. All right. In the future, just make sure that you get registered, before the cutoff time, because that allows us to prepare.
There's a legal
I'm letting you speak. All right. Just in the future. So you can come on up. In the future, just make sure that your registration is in before the cutoff time.
Hello, my name is Sam Reichbart. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm here to address two closely related issues, home cultivation and the recent decision-making surrounding the unlicensed cultivation site discovered last week. The state identified an unlicensed cultivation operation comparable to other alleged out-of-state illegal operations exceeding 30 acres. Products derived from the site were initially removed from retail shelves. However, within 24 hours, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission determined that the material that tested within acceptable safety parameters could legally return to the market. This decision establishes an important and consequential precedent. It makes clear that the determining factor for consumer safety is not licensure, regulatory oversight, or compliance with the rest of the legal supply chain, but rather the final product's cleanliness and test results, including the absence of mold and pesticides. Under New Jersey law, cannabis cultivated outside of a licensed facility is classified as illegal marijuana, not cannabis. As a result, the commission's decision, licensed retail stores are currently selling illegal marijuana. Consumers are purchasing and consuming these products without any disclosure or warning regarding its origin or legal classification. This creates significant legal and reputational risk, not only for retailers and consumers, but for the entire integrity of New Jersey's regulated cannabis market. At the same time, New Jersey residents continue to face severe actions for extremely small-scale cultivation. I know personally people who have been arrested at gunpoint. A woman was just sentenced to 6 years. It stands in stark contrast to the response given to this massive unlicensed commercial cultivation. The disparity raises a fundamental question of proportionality and fairness. If the state's position is that a lack of licensure and oversight does not inherently make a product unsafe, so long as it tests clean, then it becomes increasingly difficult to justify the continued prohibition of home cultivation. I have been told directly in the same conversation where a woman came in to tell me how I should be proud that she let this stuff back onto the market. She had the audacity to tell me that home grow is dangerous because of a lack of oversight. So what is it? Does a lack of oversight make it inherently dangerous? Or is it the fact that it's clean when it's done? If it's a matter of oversight, then you need to pull all the inherently dangerous products off of shelf. I just want to make it clear, I do not believe that, because I do not believe that licensure or where it comes from is what makes it safe and acceptable to use as medicine. I believe we need to enforce our policies uniformly across the board. So if it's okay to cultivate without a license and it's safe to be sold on the market, then so is home cultivation. I'm tired of being told it's dangerous. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sam. Okay. I will now move to the call-in portion of the speakers. The first person on the list is William Caruso. If you're in the room, in the Zoom room, please raise your hand. The last four is 3096. Okay. You have the floor, William.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Commissioners, staff, members of our cannabis community. My name is Bill Caruso. I'm the president of the New Jersey Cannabis Business Industry Association. I'm also an attorney and chair of Archer Law's cannabis practice, and I'm also honored to be an advocate in this movement. The first thing I want to offer is in reference to our cannabis community. I think a better understanding of the regulator's role here would help us all. These folks are encumbered by some of the same things that we're fighting for or fighting against. but they arise in challenges in statute. They arise in challenges in court decisions or pending decisions. And so in some cases, the hands are tied. Put shorter, we're throwing rocks at the wrong wall sometimes. And on areas of home grow and on areas of, I think there's agreement on some statutory change. I think there's some opportunity to work together. And I welcome any conversation with any one of our cannabis community members on where we can do that. Most importantly, though, I came here today to offer some praise. Sadly, though, I don't really need to, because you all have already been offered the highest form of public praise that any government body can be offered. You were offered a praise of a local New Jersey mayor complimenting a state regulatory body. That is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen, and you should take the bow for it. I'll joke a little bit. I'm a former government staffer. The expectation that government does excellent work is sometimes low, but I think we all know that have served in terms of government. The reality is it's high and it's the norm. So with all due respect, praise really isn't warranted for the incredible job you guys regularly do. That's the expectation. But I think when things happen above and beyond, praise is warranted. And obviously criticism will be dealt out regularly, but here's something special happened. Last week, a nightmare happened. You've heard about it. We've had a lot of people talk about it here, but what was truly amazing is in a regulatory agency involved in cannabis, something happened quickly, decisively, effectively, and I think, as you heard, everybody agrees it was the right answer. But let's dive into that. Governor Cheryl deserves a debt of gratitude. She's been in office less than a month. Her team isn't fully built out yet. Her attorney general has not even been confirmed by the full Senate. And they got to work and they allowed this group here to do the work it's excellent and expert at. Truly amazing. Commissioners, you should be applauded for allowing your team to work. But I want to give special credit to Director Urbish, his team, Director Riggs, and the work with the industry and the community to make sure safety was the top priority, that the consumer was the first focus. And when you confirm that, turning everything on as quickly as you did to help the industry move forward is nothing short of incredible. Thank you. We will look forward to working with you on continued reforms and really want to hold out with the model we've become. New Jersey is a model for success in cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. The next person on the list is Donald Campbell. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. The last four is 9605, Donald Campbell. I don't see that person. The next person on the list is Jim DiNatale. If you're in the room, Jim DiNatale, please raise your hand. The last four is 6757. I don't see that person. The next person on the list is Kelly Gatto. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Kelly Gatto. The last four is 1640. I don't see that person. The next person on the list is Spencer Bells. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Spencer Bells. Last four is 1995. Spencer Bells. I don't see that person. The next person on the list is Andrew Zeitlin. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Andrew Zeitlin. Last four is 0933. Okay, I see you, Andrew.
Hello?
Andrew, you have the floor. Yeah, we can hear you.
Great. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Wow, that was quite the meeting. What time is it? It's 4 o'clock already. I have already canceled 2 other appointments. I am the owner, CEO co-owner, I should say, of Cannabis Crossroad in Red Bank, New Jersey. We are a Class 5 retail operation. We are a women-owned operation. I am the spokesman. My lovely bride is the chairman of the board. And we are a small mom and pop that was encouraged to develop a cannabis business as a New Jersey residence. And we are well on our way. However, I do believe that there are significant issues that this meeting has brought to the fore, not the least of which that it took 3 hours to get to any discussion or to get to the finality here. I believe that there is a need for a listening session like you're doing for the equity portion of your remit. But I really believe that safety is really the goal here. And I really believe that that a listening session with industry participants, people that have put their own money or other people's money that are responsible for that money, whatever, that are playing in this game, which is incredibly complicated. And I've been in the regulated industry for my entire life, and this one is beyond compare. But I really believe that the commission would be well served and perhaps would be even produce a more efficient meeting in the public sense if they had industry input on a regular basis. And what I mean by that, and I could put a proposal together, but do some sort of a selection process of small players as well as large ones, and do listening sessions and actually have back and forth conversations about what it's like to operate in this business. I think it would be beneficial for customers, for the mission of safety, and to ensure that business owners that have spent money and time don't go out of business and create all kinds of other problems. Um, that's my one point, and I'd love to be able to follow up with someone on how to get listening sessions from the industry going. My second one is if I could ask a question, when will micro to regular business conversions be considered by the commission? Thank you so much. My time has expired. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Andrew. The next person on the list is Joel Schoen. Joel Schoen, if you're in the room, please raise your hand. The last four for Joel Schoen is 3701. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. And I think if you're calling in on Zoom, it's *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute. Okay, I see you, Joel. Just a reminder, it's you have the floor, Joel. *6 to unmute.
Hello, this is Joel.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, guys. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the Commission. Thank you for allowing me to speak by phone today. My name is Joel Schoen. I own Green Buffalo Farms in Jackson, New Jersey, along with my father. We're a small family-operated hemp farm licensed under the New Jersey Hemp Program. I'm speaking today not just for our farm, but for many farmers across New Jersey, including those who can't be here, those who are overwhelmed, and those who may have already been forced out of business. I'll be honest, public speaking is not my strength. I'm a farmer, not a politician. But I'm here because staying silent would mean accepting something that isn't fair. When hemp became legal in New Jersey, my father and I did exactly what the state asked of us. We worked with New Jersey, with the Department of Agriculture, followed every rule, invested our time, our money, and in future of good faith. Because of recent changes, compliant products grown legally can no longer be sold, and years of investment are now at risk. Not because farmers failed to follow rules, but because the rules changed after the fact. CBD farmers are being pushed out due to issues tied to other products that were never properly regulated, and that's not fair. Non-intoxicating hemp and CBD products like oils, tinctures, topicals, gummies, and whole plant uses are not the problem. They help people without impairment. I've seen hemp and CBD help veterans, seniors, families, and people working to reduce reliance on alcohol and other substances. When grown and regulated responsibly, this plant strengthens communities. If New Jersey farmers are forced out, consumers won't stop buying these products. They'll turn to out-of-state or unregulated sources. That weakens oversight, harms public safety, and pushes opportunity out of the Garden State. We should be working together, farmers, regulators, and the state, to keep compliant farmers who are here first in the business and serving their
30
communities.
seconds.
All we're asking for is for fairness, a realistic path that keeps compliant New Jersey hemp farmers in business and protects the people we serve. Thank you for my time and yours.
Thank you, Joel. The next person on the list is Dylan Youngklaus. Dylan Youngklaus, if you're in the room, please raise your hand. Dylan, you have the floor.
Hi, I'm calling. First, I have a question. From my understanding, when a township denies an applicant the right to have a cannabis business, they have to notify the CRC. Is that correct? And then my next question is, how do I find the denial if that is the case, to confirm that the township had sent the proper documentation? And I wanted to notify you that in the town council meeting where I was denied, the one council member had notified me that everybody in the township council cultivates cannabis illegally, and that the judge in the township also cultivates cannabis illegally on his property. He told me he's cultivating 15 acres, and to be denied the right to legally do something that I've put over $250,000 into, while being told that the entire town council and the judge in the township is illegally cultivating cannabis, is ridiculous, considering I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on attorneys and in fines for possessing cannabis, yet the people that are denying me the right to do so and collecting my money are doing the same exact thing. And that's all I really have to say. And I would like to get a response to confirm that you had received my denial. And I would like to share and know how I can share the transcript where they tell me that the mayor has and the judge have been illegally cultivating 15 acres of cannabis, because I feel like that should be public knowledge and they should be put on blast for that.
Madam Chair, I'd like to respond just quickly to the question. Under the current law and regulations, there is no notification requirement if a town decides to deny any approval for a business in that municipality.
And is there anything that can be done about the fact that they're illegally cultivating cannabis while denying people the right to apply for a license that they claim they have, but they have no intentions on giving out? Do they have the power to just say these licenses are available, but only to our friends? Is that just and constitutional?
Mr. Youngklaus, thanks so much for your comments. And thank you to Director Riggs for providing an answer to the specific question about municipal notification to the CRC. The commission has very limited, Mr. Youngklaus, the commission has very limited authority and has essentially no authority over the municipalities and what their actions are. So we cannot give you further guidance on your particular situation. But we would invite you to maybe contact the Office of Public Integrity and Accountability. I think that's the acronym. If there are questions about the municipal actions happening at the municipal level, the commission, the Cannabis Regulatory Commission, just does not have any authority or oversight there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dylan. So that's the list. I'm going to go over it just one more time for the people that didn't get a chance that were registered that didn't get a chance. Michael Odenwald in person. And then moving to phone people. Donald Campbell, 9605 is the last four. Jim DiNatale, 6757 is the last four of the telephone number. Kelly Gatto, 1640 is the last four of the telephone number. If you're in the room, please raise your hand. Chairwoman, this will conclude the registered speakers we have for today's public meeting.
Thank you. I will know, I was just alerted that, Mr. Norcia, the technical issues that we had actually. You connected with her. Okay, great. All right, perfect. That's resolved. Excellent. Thank you very much. Thank you to our communications team. That concludes the business that we have before us today. With that, thank you for all of our registered our speakers who came and shared their experiences and their ideas, both policy and administrative suggestions for the agency. And Mr. Bird, please don't leave without connecting with our team. Thank you. With that, I move that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Laufer. Is there any discussion on this motion to adjourn? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, say nay. Any abstention? The motion passes. The time is 4:16 p.m. and we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.